Well, I've developed a leak in my gray water tank, and I've kind of isolated, I think. I stopped using the kitchen sink and just the shower and the bathroom sink, and I have no leakage at all. As soon as I put something down the kitchen sink, I have some leakage. That's why the towel is there. But I took this off, and I can't see the top of the tank. It is so tight that there's no way to see it. So here we are inside. Here's the fridge, and here is the heater access. And so I have to take those three hoses off, and then I can pull that heater out. But let me show you. I'm going to have to turn on the torch here, which I don't think I can do with this running. So let's see if we can see it. I doubt it. Yeah, you can almost see it. The pipe is right back there, semi-close to the door. Let me see if I can get a better pic of that. Yeah, there we go. And this will be a trick to see if I can do this for you. So I can actually lift up and down on that. It's not tight. So I'm sure that it's broken or just came disconnected or whatever, but I need to see down through that hole. So I'm gonna take the heater out so I have room, cut that pipe. Like right here, I've got a coupler, and then pull that out and kind of look in there and see what's going on if I can. Maybe I can fix it from up here, we'll see. So to take the heater out, I first have to remove this guy here. And if you look at these, you know what that is. It's just the vent. One little wing nut holding that on. Take that off. And then I've got to undo the gas line here. And so this might take more than a day. So I've got a plug for that gas line. I just won't be able to use the heater. Then I'll take all these screws out, which I've taken all but one here, holding it in till I get the gas line out. Then that should slide out, and then there should be a plug for the electric that I unplug. So we'll remove this gas line here. I didn't have an open end wrench big enough, so I'm going with the old crescent wrench. So it's a little slower. I can smell the gas. I turned the gas off. I better go check that. Doesn't sound like it's off. It was off. Good to check those things though. So I'm gonna have to push that back, I know, to get this through. That was a hard part when I did fix the heater. I actually replaced that big motor there. While I'm at it, I'll give you another little clue on this heater. It wasn't igniting the flame, and I couldn't figure out why. I read all kinds of stuff. I was gonna get ready to tear it apart. Well, this connector right here that goes over to the flame, that was loose. Inside the pins were loose onto the circuit board there. And I took that off, took a little tiny pair of like eyeglass straight standard screwdriver and bent the pins a little bit so it would fit on tight. And then the other thing was this guy right here on the board, and I just tapped it, and it's worked now for 3 months. So that's just a side. Okay, let me see if I can pull this out. Well, it wanted to slide out, but there was something holding it. I couldn't tell what, so I had to stop and go back inside. So I found out what it was. There's a little screw right down here. The screw to this plate, and this board does not move out. So I've got to get to that. So I'm gonna have to take this off and then unscrew it. And then you might be able to see back there now with that pipe. I'm going back there. Once I get this out, I should be able to look anyway. Okay, so that slid out pretty good. Here's the little electric. So that had enough room that I could pull it out and then unclip it. The gas line over here, so that goes back. I'm gonna have to pull this board out though to get over here because I can only see a little bit. I'll probably have to use a mirror or something, or my phone or something to look down that hole. So I marked this board front and top, so it might be easier to line up. There's only 2 screws, and they're pretty long ones, so I make sure it's fairly easy to line up. Okay, yeah, we can see that that's plenty loose. So I'm gonna, if I had a Sawzall, I'd use a Sawzall, but I got a little saw with the hacksaw blade, so I'll cut that off. I've got a coupler already. Well, you know what? I better put my plug in my gas line here too, so I can turn my fridge back on. So we can't quite see down there yet, but we can definitely see it's not what it's supposed to be. So we'll get this off, we'll be able to see it better. Yep, that's what it looks like down there. This is going to be interesting. Well, that's as good as pick probably I'm going to get. Trying to get in a little bit better focus. And here's the end of that. So this flange has broken all the way off. Now, if I can get this lined up, there's some stuff on the market called Plast-Ade, which might bind to both of those and lock this together. So I'm going to do a little bit of research and see what I can find. So I've taken some isopropyl alcohol and my brush, and I brushed it in the hole on the top, cleaned it all off. Did the same thing with this guy. Luckily it's kind of jagged, so it fits in there a certain way. So I've marked that on the pipe. And I've also marked it on the floor. So my idea is to get something. Plast-Ade is really good, but you usually have to order that. It's really good though. I've used it on hot tubs all the time. I wasn't a hot tub repairman, but I had a hot tub for 20 years. And so maybe JD Weld, maybe that'll work. I'm not sure. So it's time to go hunting. We're going to let this sit and see what we can find. So I got some epoxy putty, so we're going to try that. Hopefully I've got enough where it'll bind. It's supposed to start in 7 to 10 minutes. It's been about 2 minutes so far. So I just got to line it up and push it down, and we'll go from there and see what happens. So these are all the tools I ended up using. You saw most of them. I did need to go get the 5/8 inch wrench with the crescent wrench so I could tighten that gas fitting up so it wouldn't leak. I cut the pipe with this. And we're going to use this ABS cement on the coupler when we're ready to do that. We use this to mark the pipe. This is that putty that I used. I need a square tip. to take the screws out of the heater. And I believe that's all I needed for this job so far anyway. I think that's it. So my first attempt failed miserably. This didn't harden at all. So I'm going to do some research of why didn't it harden. I thought it would harden as soon as it got out into the air, but there's something else going on that I don't know. So we'll go check it out. So I just got on their website and finally read there's no instructions on the tubes at all. But as you can see here, it's got a little black in the center and gray on the outside. It says knead it until it's the same color, uniform color. That's crazy, but I'll try it. Okay, so we're gonna do some dishes. That stuff dried up pretty good. I mixed that the first batch of putty that I screwed up, I remixed it together and it did harden. It seemed brittle though, so, but that could have been, it was exposed for what, 24 hours without being mixed, so I don't know what that would have done to it, but the pipe seems to be fixed good in there. We'll do a little bit of dishwashing today, and then I'm going to move, and then we'll check that pipe again and see, and then I'll make this video. Well, the first test is a success, but I kind of presumed that we'll have to do this after I take a trip down the road, and maybe one or two after that. Anyway, so far so good.